Your fuel pump just died at 80,000 miles. The dealership says it'll be $1,200 to replace it. You're thinking it's just bad luck, right? Wrong. Independent testing shows that nearly 60% of gas stations in America sell fuel that barely meets minimum detergent standards. That's the stuff that's slowly killing your engine right now. So I'm counting down the 12 gasoline brands you should never use, and at the end, I'll give you the 5 brands that actually keep your engine clean. These are the same fuels I've trusted in my own trucks for over 300,000 miles. Let's get into it. Number 12, Safeway gas. You pull into a Safeway because you're already grabbing groceries and hey, the price looks decent. But here's what's happening under your hood. Safeway's fuel consistently tests below the detergent levels recommended by GM, Ford, and Toyota. I'm talking about 30 to 40% less cleaning power than what your owner's manual assumes you're using. What does that mean for you? After about 6 months of regular use, your fuel injectors start collecting carbon deposits. Your idle gets rough. Throttle response feels lazy. Sometimes your check engine light comes on for a lean fuel condition, and the mechanic can't find anything actually broken. That's because nothing's broken yet, it's just dirty. I've scoped engines that ran exclusively on Safeway gas for 2 years. The intake valves looked like they were coated in black tar. When fuel doesn't have enough detergent, that carbon buildup happens fast, and it's expensive to clean. Safeway isn't top-tier certified, which is the industry standard for quality fuel. They meet the legal minimum, nothing more. You might save 10 cents a gallon now, but you're looking at a $400 fuel system cleaning down the road. Number 11, Quick Trip. Now this one surprises people because Quick Trip has clean bathrooms and decent coffee, but their fuel game is inconsistent. Quick Trip doesn't refine their own gasoline. They contract with regional suppliers, which means the fuel you get in Oklahoma might be completely different from what you get in Georgia. Some locations have had their fuel tested and it came back fine. Others have failed state inspections for water contamination and sediment. In 2021, multiple Quick Trip locations in the Atlanta area were temporarily shut down after drivers reported their cars stalling within minutes of filling up. State inspectors found traces of water in the underground storage tanks. Water in your fuel system is catastrophic. It rusts your fuel lines, destroys your fuel pump, and can hydro-lock your engine if enough gets through. The real problem is you never know which Quick Trip is selling good fuel and which one is selling you a repair bill. Number 10, 7-Eleven. You're on a road trip, your tank's running low, and you see that orange and green sign. Convenient, sure, but 7-Eleven's fuel sourcing is all over the map. They buy from whoever offers the cheapest contract that month. I've had customers come in complaining about rough idle and hesitation that started right after a 7-Eleven fill-up. When we drain the tank and test the fuel, it's often contaminated with excessive ethanol or shows signs of old, degraded gasoline. Here's a specific example. In 2019, several 7-Eleven stations in Florida were caught selling E85 flex fuel through regular unleaded pumps. E85 is 85% ethanol, and if your car isn't designed for it, that fuel will eat through rubber seals and corrode metal components. Dozens of drivers had to replace fuel pumps, injectors, and sensors. The company blamed a supplier mix-up, but the damage was already done. When a brand has that little control over what's in their tanks, you're gambling every time you fill up. Number 9, Sam's Club. Warehouse gas stations are built for one thing: volume. Sam's Club moves millions of gallons every week, and that kind of operation prioritizes speed over quality control. Their fuel comes from a rotating list of regional suppliers, so there's no consistent formula. One month you might get decent gas, the next month it could be contaminated with water or sediment from poorly maintained storage tanks. I've seen this firsthand. A customer brought in his F-150 with a clogged fuel filter and rough running. He'd been filling up exclusively at Sam's Club to save money. When we cut open the fuel filter, it was packed with rust particles and what looked like algae growth. That's a sign of water sitting in storage tanks for too long. Sam's Club fuel isn't top-tier certified, which means it only meets the bare minimum detergent requirements. You're saving maybe 15 cents a gallon, but you're shortening the life of your fuel system by years. Number 8, Circle K. Circle K is everywhere, and that's part of the problem. With thousands of locations, quality control becomes nearly impossible. They don't refine their own fuel either. They buy from local distributors, and that means every Circle K could be selling something different. I've worked on engines that ran on Circle K gas for a year or more. The pattern is always the same: carbon buildup on intake valves, sluggish acceleration, and poor fuel economy. In 2020, multiple Circle K stations across the South were fined by state regulators for selling fuel contaminated with water after heavy storms. Drivers filled up, drove a few miles, and their cars died on the side of the road. The company blamed it on delivery issues and offered to reimburse repair costs, but that doesn't help when you're stranded. If you've ever had your car start running rough right after a fill-up, drop a comment below. I want to hear which brand it was. Number 7, Racetrack. The name makes it sound performance-oriented, right? Don't fall for it. Racetrack's regular unleaded is some of the weakest fuel I've tested. Consumer Reports and independent labs have found that their detergent levels are consistently below top-tier standards. That means carbon deposits form faster, and your engine's performance drops over time. I've talked to drivers who switched from Racetrack to a top-tier brand and noticed an immediate improvement in throttle response and fuel economy. That's not a coincidence. When you're burning fuel with weak detergents, your engine can't run efficiently. Number 6, Murphy USA. You'll find Murphy stations right next to Walmart parking lots all over the country. Their entire business model is built on selling the cheapest gas possible. And when your main goal is cheap, something has to give. Usually, it's the detergent package. According to fuel sample data from multiple states, Murphy's detergent levels are often 40 to 50% below what top-tier brands provide. That's a huge difference. In 2018, several Murphy stations in Texas and Louisiana were investigated after dozens of vehicles stalled shortly after filling up. State inspectors found fuel contaminated with water and sediment. The company blamed supplier errors, but here's the thing. When you prioritize low prices over quality control, these problems keep happening. I've seen too many fuel injector failures and clogged filters traced back to Murphy gas. You might save $3 on a fill-up, but you'll spend $300 fixing the damage. Number 5, Speedway. Speedway looks like a solid choice. Clean stores, well-lit pumps, recognizable brand, but their fuel quality doesn't match the image. Like most of these brands, Speedway doesn't refine their own gas. They source from regional suppliers, and that leads to inconsistency. Independent testing has shown their detergent levels are below top-tier standards, which means more carbon buildup in your engine over time. In 2020, some Speedway locations were caught selling fuel with high water content after poorly maintained storage tanks allowed rainwater to seep in. Drivers noticed their cars sputtering or refusing to start. Water in your fuel system causes rust, kills fuel pumps, and can lead to catastrophic engine failure if it reaches the cylinders. Speedway meets the legal minimum standards, but that's not good enough for modern engines. Direct injection engines especially need high-quality fuel, and Speedway just doesn't deliver. Number 4, Love's Travel Stops. Truckers and road trippers love Love's because they're everywhere and open 24 hours. But convenience doesn't equal quality. Love's has been flagged multiple times for contamination issues and poor tank maintenance. When you're moving that much volume across hundreds of locations, keeping every tank clean becomes a massive challenge. I've had customers fill up at Love's before a long trip and break down halfway through. We drain the tank and find cloudy fuel with visible sediment. That's water and dirt, plain and simple. In 2022, several drivers in Oklahoma and Missouri filed complaints after Love's gas caused their vehicles to stall right after filling up. State inspectors found microbial growth in underground storage tanks. That's bacteria and algae that form when water sits in fuel tanks too long. It clogs filters and injectors like glue. Love's fuel isn't top-tier certified, so there's no guarantee of adequate detergents. It's cheap, it's easy to find, but it's a gamble every time. Number 3, Arco. Here's the thing about Arco. They built their reputation on being the cheapest gas you can find. How do they do that? They skip the detergent additives that keep your engine clean. Arco fuel meets the absolute legal minimum, but it's not top-tier certified. That means it has roughly half the detergents of brands like Chevron or Shell. Over time, that leads to carbon buildup, reduced fuel economy, and sluggish performance. There's another issue. Many Arco stations are cash only or charge a debit card fee. That's because they're cutting costs everywhere they can. When a company is that focused on price, quality suffers. I've seen engines that ran on Arco for years, and they're always dirty inside. Valves coated in carbon, injectors partially clogged, and combustion chambers covered in deposits. You're saving maybe 20 cents a gallon, but you're shortening your engine's lifespan. Number 2, Pilot Flying J. This brand made national headlines for all the wrong reasons. In 2013, the FBI raided Pilot Flying J headquarters after the company admitted to defrauding truckers out of fuel rebates. They stole millions of dollars from the drivers who trusted them. That alone should tell you something about their priorities. But the problems don't stop at corporate crime. Many drivers still complain about inconsistent fuel quality. I've had diesel truck owners come in saying their engines started knocking or losing power right after filling up at Pilot. Some of that fuel tested high for water content or heavy sediment from old, poorly maintained tanks. When a company cares more about profits than the people they serve, quality control takes a back seat. Pilot Flying J might be convenient for travelers, but your engine deserves better than fuel from a company with that track record. Number 1, Getty Gas. Getty stations are mostly found on the East Coast, and they've earned their spot at the top of this list. Getty doesn't refine fuel. They're a rebranded distributor, which means they buy the cheapest gas available and slap their name on it. There's zero consistency from one station to the next. Independent fuel quality tests have ranked Getty among the lowest for detergent content. In some cases, their fuel barely meets EPA minimum standards. I've worked on cars that filled up regularly at Getty stations. The fuel system damage is severe. Clogged injectors, carbon-coated valves, rough idle, misfires, and terrible fuel economy. One customer came in with a Honda Accord that had 90,000 miles on it, but ran like it had 200,000. We scoped the engine and found thick carbon deposits on every intake valve. When we asked where he bought gas, he said, "Getty, every week, for 3 years." That's what low-quality fuel does. It robs your engine of power and efficiency, and eventually it costs you thousands in repairs. Now here's the good news. Not every brand cuts corners. Some actually invest in keeping your engine clean and running strong. Let me show you the 5 brands that are worth your money. Number 5, ExxonMobil. Exxon's Synergy fuel lineup is one of the most consistent premium fuels you can buy. Every grade, from regular to premium, meets top-tier standards. That means each gallon is loaded with detergents that scrub carbon off your valves and injectors while you drive. I've torn down engines with 150,000 miles that ran mostly on ExxonMobil, and they look remarkably clean inside. No heavy deposits, no sluggish valves, just smooth operation. Exxon also controls their supply chain tightly, so what you get in Texas is the same quality you'll get in New York. That consistency matters. It costs a few cents more per gallon than discount brands, but you'll save far more in the long run by avoiding fuel system repairs. Number 4, Shell. Shell's V-Power. Nitro Plus Fuel uses nitrogen-enriched additives to prevent carbon buildup. It's not just about cleaning your engine, it's about protecting it from deposits forming in the first place. Shell fuel creates a protective barrier inside your combustion chamber that stops gunk from sticking to metal surfaces. Cars that run on Shell for years still show clean valves and injectors when I scope them. Shell is also top-tier certified across all grades, so even their regular unleaded has strong detergent protection. You're not getting a watered-down formula. It's quality fuel at every pump, every time. The throttle response and fuel economy speak for themselves. Number 3, Chevron. Chevron's Techron formula is legendary in the mechanic world. It's one of the strongest detergent packages ever approved by automakers. Techron doesn't just prevent buildup, it actually removes existing carbon deposits over time. I've seen engines switch from cheap gas to Chevron, and within a few tanks, the idle smooths out and power comes back. That's the Techron working. Chevron is top-tier certified, and their quality control is rock solid. Whether you're filling up in California or Florida, you're getting the same high-quality fuel. It's a few cents more expensive, but your engine will thank you. Clean injectors, clean valves, and better performance across the board. Number 2, Costco. Most people don't realize Costco gas is top-tier certified. They meet the same strict detergent standards as Chevron and Shell, but they sell it for less. How? Volume. Costco moves so much fuel that it's always fresh, and they keep their storage tanks impeccably clean. Independent lab tests have shown Costco gas often contains more detergent additives than many name brand fuels. I've seen high mileage cars run on Costco gas with zero buildup issues. The secret is simple: they prioritize quality control and fast turnover. You're getting premium fuel quality at a warehouse price. That's rare in this industry. Number 1, BP Amoco Ultimate. This is the best fuel I've ever worked with. BP's Amoco Ultimate isn't just high detergent fuel, it's engineered to actively clean your engine as you drive. The additive package is so strong that it can remove carbon deposits that have been building up for years. I've seen engines switch to Amoco Ultimate after running on cheap gas, and within a few tanks the difference is dramatic. Smoother idle, better throttle response, improved fuel economy. BP claims Amoco Ultimate keeps engines up to 60% cleaner than fuels that only meet minimum standards. From what I've seen in the shop, that's not marketing hype, it's real. Yes, it costs more, but if you care about long-term engine health, this is the fuel you want. Clean valves, efficient combustion, and fewer repairs. It's worth every penny. So there you have it, 12 brands to avoid and 5 that actually protect your engine. If you've had a bad experience with any of these fuels, drop a comment below and let me know which brand it was. Don't forget to subscribe. We're exposing more automotive myths and scams every week, and you don't want to miss it.